That's two master kings I gotta identify is what that's telling me. And the 5 is coming through the 5-point star, right? Meaning coming through the mother line, and it gotta be interpreted by the father line. The 6 is a man, the 5 is the woman. The 6-point star, the 5-point star. Now who in the hell is these two kings? Let's see. Then he went up from there to Bethel. And as he was going up by the way, young lads came out from the city and mocked him and said, "Go up, you bald head. Go up, you bald head." Now they said that twice. So that means there's two bald head people here. Now remember, we in the Red Lodge. We messing around at Death Row Records now. The Death Row Records. When he looked behind him and saw them, he cursed them in the name of the Lord. He cursed them in the name of the Lord. And then 2 female bears came out of the woods and tore up 42 lads of their number. Very sweet story. Now, I had to find through the matriarchal line who these two kings was. My clue was the bear. My clue was the bear. Now remember I told y'all that she got 2 bears to represent her clan. This is the 5. So the 2 bears that she got was the cubs. So the mirror effect say these 2 bears are adults. So that's why I say go up, you bald head, twice. It's 2 bald heads. There's 2 bald head bloods we talking about here. One brought in the other, meaning Suge brought in Pac. But Pac was already blessed through the Panthers, through the Lion Clan, through Bast, right? Black Panther the movie. Go back and look at it. Now watch this. Pac had a song called, the song was called Never Had a Friend Like Me. Never Had a Friend Like Me. This popped up while I was doing my research. Now it sent me to Proverbs 17:17. But did it really send me to Proverbs? What is a proverb? A proverb is a wise riddle. Now look, 1-7 and 1-7. You got the 2 1s, that's my mama, and the 2 7s, that's me. Got the 2 1 now, but now watch what they happen to them when you add them, because you see the colon in the middle. That's the break. So now, what was my mother's line, the mother line, the Red Lodge, and what was the father line, the perfected man, the Blue Lodge. When you add these 2 numbers, you got 88. That's called the Queen's seat. 80 is the Queen's chair. 88 is the seated Queen. So in order to seat the Queen, friends, a friend loves at all times. They are there to help when trouble comes. So now you look at all this red shit. It's telling me I'm in the Red Lodge. Now here we have 4 crosses. 4 crosses. Each cross is the center of the zodiac. Each cross is the center of the zodiac. But you see your Trinity here. That means that the God man has no cross. That means that he's above the zodiacs. Now, that means these two masters work together. How do I know this? You see these 2 crosses, 2 zodiacs. Each they said that the bear, let me go back. Let me go back for a second. Right here, count the number. It said the female bear came out of the woods. Rodney mean woods, y'all. The female bear came from Rodney and tore up 42 lads of their number. 42 is 4 12s. That's 4 years. That's 4 years. That's 4 years. Now watch where the 4 years come in at. It's 2 years for me and it's 2 years for her. We both got to ascend. That's 2 years apiece because it's split. It's split. The 2 years is split between the 2. How do I know this? It say right here, 42 lads. Then it say, go up, you bald head. That's 1 bald head. Go up, you bald head. That's 2. So that's telling me that there's 2 people here that's being discussed with these bears. And the bears, even here, tie back to the Red Lodge. Now look, Care Bears is the woman. Now watch here, next one. Now you see the two bears eating they eating babies. Who does that? Kronos. Kronos eat the babies. Kronos is a male, right? But look at the Care Bears. The mother protects the babies. Kronos eat the babies. That's telling me, Kronos eat the babies is telling me that there's something to do with time, which takes me to the two people waiting the 2 years each, right? It's the two people waiting the 2 years each. Now let's go back. Go back to, okay, now here, each one of those crosses is representing a year, right? Each one of those crosses represent a year. That's 12 months, 24. 12 months, 24. You add them together, you got 48 months. I'm showing you how I read the signs. I can't get no more concise than this. This is a physics problem. This is quantum physics. But I'm making it plain enough for a baby to understand it. All right, now, from there, let me see if I can find my vesicle, my two triangles. Oh, I showed you the triangles that I was sent. All right, now that that's cleared up, I have to go and I have to identify the symbol of the diamondback, because we already identified the RH negative tells me that I got to identify a reptile, right? The RH negative on the shield told me I had to identify a reptile. So here's what I did. I'm going to look this up right quick. Don't tread. Image. Now, I'm looking this up in real time, and as I look it up, I'm going to let y'all see it. Here. See that? Don't tread on me. It didn't want to load for a minute there. Let's see if it'll load. I want y'all to see the symbol because the snake and the diamond has to tie me into the militia. Look, diamondback, rattlesnake. I told y'all the Southwest was the home range of the diamondback rattlesnake. Now, watch this. Watch this. Jet leaf. Jet is a plane. Li is Lee. That tied me back to Asia. That's the Lee line. My father's middle name is Lee, but it's spelled different. And fee is a price. Who paid the price? 3 times 5 is 15. 1 and 5 is 6. So this is the price that the man had to pay. As you go down, it's a U.S. veteran. You see the veteran? So that ties me into the veteran struggle, my Wounded Warrior Project. Owned Biz. Now that's Biz Markie. This is Biz Markie. So this is telling me hip-hop is involved. Right? Now, message and rattlesnake design. That's two things. That's a message. What's the message? Don't tread on me. Diamondback. Mouth is open. The snake is poised to strike. Rattle. Don't tread on me. Flags. I mean, it's a warning. They flagging the embroidered deco. What's deco?
I actually made it. That means it is my time too. How you doing, brother? I'm at work.
Can you talk?
Listen, yes, I can.
Okay.
Because I just heard you talking to the goddess about the self-knowledge and self-recognition. I just wanted to speak on that as well. And peace, love, and light to you before I start.
All
and
right.
I just wanted to say,
But you get started, tell us your name and where you calling from.
I'm from Philly. My name is Alan Belazaire. Well, I go by the name of Ligba Ezili, Voodoo, because that's my roots. Well, that's our roots. Born in Haiti, raised in Philly since I was 8 years old. Yeah, yep. So I wanted to ask you a question. Lately, I've been doing a lot of practicing, and if you pick me, it must have been my time because I've been doing a lot of rituals, and I know they record us. And the thing I was always afraid of, one of the rituals, I was listening to one of the guys on YouTube, and also I think Kalai and also another gentleman, they were talking about how you got to break free from the scaredness. So me having like visions and stuff like that when I sleep, like the other night I was sleeping, I had a vision, and what I saw was like I saw these two women, a dark skinny lady and a light skinned woman. And then while I was in my room, in my bedroom, I was talking to, I just saw one of the ladies, and then one of them, it was like she was short and light skinned, and then she had like a wedding dress on. And then the other dark skinned woman, she didn't have a wedding dress on, and they just came, walked in the room, and then both of them said they were going to marry me. And then when they said they were going to marry me, and then the light skin was like, "You're not going to marry him without me marrying him as well." And then I just didn't say nothing. I was just following them. And then before I started practicing, like I went back home in 2000 and 2001, I believe. And then I went back home to like recalibrate myself, worship the ancestors and everything like that. It's something they do. Since you're very knowledgeable, I know you know about it. 14th of August every year, we go to where the ancestors gave us the liberation. And, they call it Wakaima. In Haitian, they call it Guacaima. So when the two ladies were there, and then I was just looking and watching, the skinny dark lady came in, and as she walked in my main room, because I have my orishas and my stuff in one of my bedrooms, and in another room, my meditation room, and in my main bedroom, that's where the two women walked in. And then when they walked in, and then before the skinny one walked in, the light skinned one with the wedding dress just jumped on the bed. Before the skinny one jumped in the bed, she just walked in, and then she looked at me. And then she walked back at me. And then she said, "You're not coming?" I just noticed. And then when I blinked, I noticed I was in the room with them. Before she got in my bed, I noticed a big spider, which is Asani, a big spider next to her, and then the dark skinned lady. And then the crazy thing is, I don't know if you see this a show called The American Gods. When I was in church, I was leaving church. The first guy I saw, the black guy that was on the boat that was telling the slaves like, "Y'all want to be free,
Fancy.
yet y'all don't believe in yourself." Yeah, him, that guy. And then when he saw that, I noticed I started seeing a lot of spiders around me. So I started doing rituals with the spiders, because they say you have orishas that walk with you, and then some of them or walk with you since you were born, and some of them you have to pick or choose which one you want to work with.
Yeah.
And then the lady, and I noticed the lady looked at the spider, and then the spider jumped on the lady's shoulder, on her left shoulder. And then she looked at the spider, she looked at me, and then while she looked at me, the spider just jumped at me. And then while the spider jumped at me, I woke up. And then since then, I'm like, I wanted to know what that dream was, since I know you decode these type of things. So
Well,
I
let me
wanted
tell
to know.
you, your job is to tie two clans together. There's two
Mm,
clans in your blood. One of them, Nancy, is from the Anasazi tribe, and they use the spider as their totem. They use all kind of spiders. All spiders is under their totem system.
okay.
All right. The the one who he jumped on her shoulder, that's her clan.
Mm,
The other one is from a different clan. That's why they was dressed different.
mm,
And it's not uncommon for the lower who you are represented by to have two, to tie two clans together.
okay. Can I ask you another question, or can I make a comment, a
Yep.
statement? All right. So because I grew up in church for 32 years of my life. I'm 35. Grew up in church for 32 years. Left church like about since 2018. And then when I left church, and then I started like practicing voodoo more, and I really started getting back in my culture. And I noticed Dumbala, which was a snake in my culture and my family roots. They said that it's which spirits that walks with you, whatever. So the first thought when I first started waking up, a snake came and wrapped its body around me and squeezed me like it was gonna choke me. And then while it squeezed me, all I had was a whole bunch of cerumen coming out of my ear. And then the thing is, when I started looking at the laws, let me show you my book that I have, which is my ritual book. Since everything's exposed, there's nothing for us to be afraid of, right, brother? Because you're the elder. You give us the protection, and you give us the knowledge, and we just go do the homework. And if you can see, this is my book, and this is my Orisha. I don't know, for some reason, out of all the laws, this is the Sijis, which is Legba. This is the one that keeps coming on to me, and it was so easy for me to make. So I was wondering, the thing about our culture, well, in the Haitian culture, they said that I cannot accept him or accept to work with him unless, like you said, unless the other clans from like my mother's side and my father's side, unless I go talk to them and see if it's okay with them to like give me the passage to have that kind of energy to work with that energy.
So that ties back into your dream. The tying
So,
together of the clans can be your mother line and father line. Remember, I told you the clans is in you already. So that makes
yes,
perfect sense to what your understanding of your lower is. Just follow what you know.
I'm just doing what my heart tells me to do.
That's what you do.
So,
You
like,
you
like,
already on the right. So you already on the path. You
okay,
already on track. Keep doing what
okay.
you're doing, you know, and just pay attention to the changes and the types of changes to let you know how to calibrate.
That's what I wanted to ask you, right? You know how we do meditation and also with yoga. And then like over the weekend, like lately I've been doing fasting, like I've been doing 11-day fasting. Like once a month I do maybe 3 to 11 days clean out my body. And then the other day I was doing I did a fast, and then as I was doing a fast and I did some shrooms, or should I say ayahuasca. And then when I did the ayahuasca, after I did it, today it finally subsided. I was having like this headache. It wasn't really this massive headache. It was like my throat, my palate was like hurting. So these are the type of signs I'm starting to pay attention to. So I don't know if it was my kundalini that was rising, or if it's like, my third eye that's decalcifying, because I've been drinking a lot of pine tea, because pine tree, I know is good for the pine cone, right? It's a pine cone, so it's good for your
Pineal.
pineal gland. So yes, so, and because of Brother Lifeway, because I follow all of my brothers, so I kind of got that knowledge, and then since then I've been doing the tea, and then I've been like mixing teas and everything like that. So I wanted to know, like, why is it that like I was having all these body aches, like, or
You
and
just
how
told me.
should, okay, so then that means my mind was correct. So then my heart was
Look,
right. So
stop
then that means,
second
okay,
guessing yourself.
there you go. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah,
Okay.
stop second guessing yourself. Your Lord talking to you. That's all I can tell you. He's
Oh,
talking to you.
he
You just
did.
you gotta accept and honor that.
Why is it that when it came upon me the last time, it said, I am that I am? That was the word that was coming out of my mouth.
Because it's
The
telling you
last
to
time,
be still and know that you God.
that's all that came out of my mouth. Like
Right.
when I was
Be still and
like,
know that you God. Look, you on the
okay,
right path.
okay.
Right now you working from the position of second guessing yourself, which is a part of an insecurity. Overcome that shit.
So how do I work on that more?
Believe in yourself. The more you believe in yourself, the stronger you overcome it. You're doing everything on the path. You're getting
Okay.
all of the right feedback for the lower that you mentioned, for
Hmm.
the dream that you mentioned. All of this is just telling you the right path. You're on the right path. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Just don't let nobody come in trying to tell you to take a side. Take a side with your lower. He gonna keep the rest of the motherfuckers at bay, cause he don't play.
Okay.
He
Can
like to
you
fuck motherfuckers up.
yes, can you please define what do you mean by take a side? I wanted to ask you that question. I'm glad that you mentioned it. So be elaborate more
Okay,
on that
so
for us.
most people are persuaded to accept a persuasive argument that's not
Mm,
rooted in the truth.
okay,
That's dogma.
okay,
Yo, if it don't feel right in your heart, fuck that shit. But you in a unique position because you have one of the lowest talking to you.
I want to speak to him the way I'm speaking to you right now.
He
I want to
talking to you,
speak to him
just
right
ain't
now.
listening.
Hmm.
He gonna smack you upside your head if he keep talking to you
Then
and you keep
I'm
ignoring
trying
him.
to listen. I'm
Yeah,
not trying
but
to
when
ignore
he
him. I'm
smack you
trying to. I'm
upside your
trying to
head, he
be.
gonna have your attention then, because he don't
He
have
wants.
as long a patience as some of the other lords, and he want to smoke, so he don't care if you get mad at him.
No, I want to smoke myself. That's why you
Yeah,
picked me. Because this
right.
is the first time I was on Instagram, and that was one of my fears to conquer. Is to get on Instagram. It's crazy. I'm the last one you picked. So right then and there, this is my opening, and then I'm talking to the great one. So listen, I want the smoke. I want all the fucking smoke. So
So
I just see the
look,
thing is I
look,
was looking for an elder to give me the right guidance, or because you got
you the fucking
motherfuckers out here.
elder.
Mm,
You the elder you've been looking
Ashe,
for.
Ashe, Ashe,
So now
Aibobo.
look, this is what you got to do now. Find out his favorite offering. Give it to yourself. Then he gonna talk to you real then. He gonna know you ready.
Mm, his favorite offering. My mind just told me a banana and candy. I'm telling you
Look,
what's processed already.
just whatever he tell you. When you
Okay,
follow the instructions, the more you listen to them, the more they will communicate with you.
that's why I
And the
wanted
clearer the
to.
communication to be. It ain't gonna be no fucking secret, because you fucking with the right one now, because he gonna smack you silly if you don't pay attention. You must be just like me, a hard-headed motherfucker that got to do
I
it your
am,
way.
I am,
Yeah, because
I
that's,
I am
yeah, all us with those warriors for Loas, yeah, we hard-headed.
with a
He
good
gonna
heart.
get your attention,
Mm,
but he got your attention. You already doing, now you just gotta fine-tune it, like the radio slightly off the channel. You just gotta get the sound to come in clear.
and then that's why I need my brothers and sisters to put me in the
He's
right
gonna tell you
guidance.
everything to do.
Mm,
Give him his offering, but give it to yourself. If it's a food offering,
eat
whatever
it.
his favorite food is, make that shit
Mm, mm.
for yourself.
See, this is where I had doubted, right? When it came out, I'll message you after we leave when I get home because I'm at work, and then I'll send you the my loas, my siges. The thing is, when I first started getting into my culture, or should I say my nature, and what I realized, like when I was asking other people this kind of question that I was asking you, they kept like giving me the runaround, like giving me the two sides, like you said. I guess that's probably one of the things that made me doubtful too. Because when people have been in doing something longer than you, and you think that they should have the more knowledge than you, so they
But
giving
they
you, they
might not
say,
have a
oh,
connection than yours.
because they've
See,
been because
all of us who got Loas attached to us. My big mama baptized me with the Baron, right? And the
mm,
Baron is the Ogun.
mm,
So when for, we supposed to wake up to who they is, or they gonna wake us up to who they is. And when they wake
mm,
us up to who they is, they gonna smack the shit out of us. I got disappointed. Um, all of the social issues that we complain about are part of the fucking punishment for doing the dirt we did. Or the dirt we let them do, I should say, because we ain't the ones did it. The invaders did the dirt, and we stood by. We didn't do what a guardian is supposed to do. When you babysitting and you see the kids about to fuck some shit up, you supposed to stop them. We ain't stop them. Then y'all want to know why we had to pay for the shit. Well, we all didn't. Only one of us was willing to pay for it in full with his own motherfucking shit. One motherfucker. Cause mama say you can't just throw people away like trash. And that's exactly what Inky did. Following his brother's orders because he was outranked. They threw them people away in Europe.
and Ea's rope. Ea is inky. Ea is inky. When they say they threw him away in Europe, they ain't lying. And that's why Ivan Van Sertima had to go and find African presidents early Europe. Because it wasn't no Europeans before 10,000 years ago. Wasn't none. When you see them talking about Cro-Magnons, Australopithecus, and Neanderthals, them was niggas. That's what they call us today. Them was niggas. Them was thugs. Them was us. Wasn't no pale-skinned European. So what did we do? What was the cleanup? What was the remedy? In order for everybody to be on the equal playing field, on the same level, first of all, them people needed to be able to rule an empire. They came from being perpetual servants. It's in your books. It ain't no secret. It's in all your books. Now you want to bitch, cry, moan, kick and scream about injustice and inequality when you created this shit. If you didn't create it, you stood by and let it happen. And mama said, well, baby, the sealer is as good as the stiller. That's right. That's right, Portia. You know the Thuggy was Queen Kylie's way of keeping the balance of wealth. With her Robin Hoods. With her Robin Hoods. They was robbing the hood. Anyway, so when we was expecting that they would clean that shit up and they had no plan for it, somebody had to clean that shit up. Somebody had to clean up the dirt they dropped over there. So when the queen gave the order, because she did give the order, it wouldn't have never happened. What they call your 200 fallen didn't fall. They came to clean up the shit. Clean up that genetic mess. They had to answer the grievance to the God that said we have no right to a sin and no right to eternal life. All we do is work, die, and that's the end of us. What about us? It's in there. Wisdom of Solomon. Look it up. Don't believe me. Go check that shit out. Stop letting these motherfuckers trick y'all. Y'all know what the hell going on in the world. So if they don't got a right to a sin. Now remember in Genesis, they didn't get kicked out for assimilating the knowledge, good and evil. They got kicked out to prevent the consumption of the tree of life. Well, where is this tree? How big is it? How tall is it? How deep do the roots go? Is it on the earth or is it in the astral? Is it on another planet? Is it on a ship? Is it a bonsai tree? Is it held in somebody's personal motherfucking garden? Where is this goddamn tree of life? It's in you. See, your chakras was blocked. As a European, they had 5 of 7 chakras blocked. They only had sacral chakra and second chakra, which is between the pelvic bone and the navel. And then once they was able to assimilate that knowledge, there was a barrier put in play. They put a parasite that can be passed on genetically in the DNA into the central nervous system. And it causes the Stephen Hawking effect. It causes, what's that shit called? Huntington's Graves disease. It causes the brain to die at a rapid rate. But it only affects the left hemisphere, and it causes them to start having a palsy and the atrophy because there's too much information the brain can't fire. Now, if you want to know a little more about it, and you can understand it a little better, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing has a debate with a eugenicist from the 70s. And in that debate, she is describing the Huntington's Graves disease and its effect. And that this was a major issue with eugenics and the eugenics philosophy. Now, the eugenics philosophy is exactly the opposite of what they're telling you it is. So the eugenics philosophy is the cleaning up the genes so that the undesirables doesn't reproduce. So what do they mean by the undesirables? You got to read the eugenics manifestos, they reports and their writings. Those who have birth defects was considered as the undesirables, that they didn't want to procreate. And the only way that this is possible on Earth with the genes on Earth. Now you got to keep in mind, we on Earth, so we're going to deal with it from an Earth angle. When you look at all of the DNA on Earth, the only DNA is Dogon DNA or Zulu DNA or one of the what they call sister tribes, because of something known as the healing factor or the recovery factor in the blood. What this does is it allows it to capture a birth defect in utero, basically wrap it up and spit it out before it can manifest in the child. But in order to maintain the status quo, they have to artificially create birth defects. Why do they have to artificially create birth defects? In order for eugenics to effectuate the needed cleanup of the genetic defect, in order for it to work, it has to be a system in play where it's a misdirection, or because just like no self-respecting African would date or sleep with Europeans before the cleanup started, Europeans didn't too much care about Africans either. It was a xenophobia, the fear of strangers, that is the reason the Europeans, they didn't trust nobody, because all they knew was deceit, treachery from people that don't look like them. So now when we talking about racism and political differences and divide and conquer, we got to trace this shit back to the source. If you look at it for what it is, there's nobody European that was smart enough to raise Plato and Socrates, to become a Plato and Socrates. They had to go to Africa. There was nobody in Europe capable enough to raise an Alexander as a leader, or a Napoleon. All these guys had to be taught by Africans. And it's not a secret. This is the kicker. It's not a secret. When you go find out the generals that Napoleon studied under, most of them was Africans. That was just only 200 years ago, 1800s. When you go and study who taught Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, Leonardo, Da Vinci, they all learned from Egyptian priests. So who the fuck gave them the power to take over and subjugate what was supposed to be superior people? Now y'all talk about y'all gods, the black gods, y'all ain't doing no god shit. Now, when I say y'all not doing no god shit, y'all doing the same thing you've been doing ever since you've been oppressed, expecting the oppression to change. Gods don't operate like that. Gods don't operate like that. Y'all been doing the same thing, expecting a different result. It ain't working. That's not God shit. If you say you God, right? If you say you God, explain to me what's the difference between a God and a man. All right? Now, I want you to explain to me the difference. Show me what a God do. Show me a God. Show me a man and explain to me the difference in the two, as Dr. Fuller would say. You can't tell me, look in the mirror and know I'm God. I can do that shit all day long. It's not going to affect any change. What's going to cause the changes we need in order to change the condition of the people. It's not hard. You ain't got to do no God shit. You could do some smart man shit to figure this shit out. It ain't even hard. It ain't even hard. First, you got to know that ain't no white people behind this oppression nowhere on earth. Nowhere on earth. No matter how powerful they look to you, white people ain't running this shit. I'm flat out tell you, the white man ain't behind this. History say it's not possible. Science say it's not possible. So I'm gonna have to roll with the history and science. Even the religions say it's not possible. White man ain't behind it. Because when it started, he wasn't even here. You didn't even think about that part, did you? When it started, wasn't no white folks. When the dirt started, wasn't no white people. So how we gonna blame it all on the white man? When the dirt started, wasn't no white folks. Now, they've been deceiving us. Let me get to the final part of this, which is about the political prisoners. Because I think by now we ought to all know what happened to the gods that amalgamated with the humans and how do we locate them. Because one of us ain't like none of the rest of us. One of us is the baddest motherfucker ever born. One of us. One of us. And it ain't gonna be no secret too much longer. So I sit back and I listen to the grievances. And one of the grievances is about what we call the Grail Kings. The Grail Kings being held without tribute, held without honor, and held without respect. And you want to know why. This is the grievance I'm getting. And the grievance concerns people like Jeff Ford, Imam Abu Jamal, Mumia Abu Jamal, Jeff Ford, Larry Hoover, Malachi York, Suge Knight, Big Meech. Anyway, so all the grievances is the same. Is the leaders that we pick get took out the picture, and that the Hellenized leaders they want us to have get promoted. So this is the grievance. This is the remedy. The resolution for the grievance is the class action lawsuit of anybody with a case stemming from a drug conviction. And this is why. According to 42 United States Code 1983, the color of state law, or the color of law actually, 19 United States Code 242 and 18 United States Code 242. These are actionable offenses that the government can commit against a citizen by creating a condition where the citizen commits a crime, but they're actually acting as a de facto agent of the state. Anybody with a drug case in America need to be part of the class action. Anybody with a murder, robbery, home invasion, or anything stemming from a drug case need to be party to the class action. And this is why. When the government is the key organizer and conspirator in an ongoing criminal enterprise, and one of the citizens, don't matter the level, and one of the citizens are baited by the government to participate in the wrongdoing that the government is committing, then the person that the government is using to further its criminal act becomes qualified immune to the prosecution stemming from the act of government. Now, I gotta slow down here because this law stuff is kind of complicated and it's kind of hard for people to understand, so I need y'all to pay attention. You have being like Demetrius Holloway, Big Meech, BMF, Larry Hoover, Jeff Ford, Harry O out in California, and Ricky Ross. All of these guys was classified as major narcotics distributors, and all of their crimes is related and interwoven with the industry of narcotics. And now we start getting into the what that got to do with anything part. That got to do with this. There's no way any one of the men that we just named, who we never left America, can get tons of cocaine. Not a couple of ounces. Not a couple of pounds. Not a couple of grams. Tons of cocaine in this country without assistance from the United States government. Now, the question becomes, is this a provable claim? Can this claim be proven that the government of the United States, the corporation known as the United States, operating out of Washington, D.C., being the chief perpetuators of the drug crime? Can we prove this? Yeah, we can prove it. And once you prove that the government is the #1 drug distributor in this country, at that point, you prove also, by proving that fact, you prove that everybody with a dope case are part of the government drug ring. In order to prove that, you have to do a couple of things. First, you have to show the government conspiracy. And now, conspiracy is a unique charge because some of the people in the conspiracy don't even need to know that they are in a conspiracy to be convicted of conspiracy. It's 5 elements to a conspiracy, which I'm not going to get into them now because I'm going to do a whole nother video on the law and political prisoners. I'm going to go more in detail. But anyway, so the government got caught. Yep, they got caught. The government at its highest levels got caught in the 80s. The government of the United States, operating out of Washington, D.C., the president, the vice president, and one of the joint chiefs of staff, Iran-Contra, they got caught. They wasn't just buying drugs from Central America, selling them here. They was buying guns from here, selling them here and abroad. Buying them from the military. They got caught. The Senate hearings is there. Now, I have to prove 2 things in order to prove what I just said. Were they doing it before Iran-Contra got exposed that can be traced? Number 1. Number 2, are they still doing the same shit? So let's look at it. In Behold a Pale Horse, William Cooper produced some government documents that checked out to be valid. The government documents show that George Herbert Walker Bush was bringing in cocaine since the 60s, using oil tankers to jump shipments of narcotics from the islands in Central America all the way to the mainland because the oil rigs were not subject to search. So that means they've been doing it since the 60s at least. So now anybody who has a drug case before the 60s, we don't have to deal with them because they're probably not living no way. Excuse me, I'm almost done. All right, so now let's just take it from 68. Let me say 68. In 1968, Larry Hoover was on the street, and he wasn't a drug dealer. Harry O was on the street, and he wasn't a drug dealer. Ricky Ross was on the street, and he wasn't a drug dealer. All of a sudden, drugs is coming over here, and these guys, and the government bringing it. Government bringing it. And these guys are automatically drug dealers now. Where they get the dope? Where they get the guns? Where these AK-47s coming from? Where these MAC-10s coming from? Where these Uzis and these Glocks coming from? Don't nobody in the hood make them. They got to get to it some kind of way. And it ain't that many good stealing Negroes in the hood that can go steal all them kind of guns and arm street gangs like they military militias. So let's analyze it. Where is they getting it from? The government. The government, the only one powerful enough to give them that many guns and that much power. So that gives them qualified immunity. We're going to push it a little further. Now that we know that they've been doing it since the 60s, they got caught in the 80s. Well, we in the 2000s now. These people still locked up. So what can we produce right now in real time to show that the government is still involved? Go to Afghanistan. Opium is used to make heroin. In the American military, special forces are working with the Afghanistan farmers to protect the opium fields that Afghanistan is shipping to America that's being made in the heroin. Think about that for a minute. Think about that. Now how in the hell we supposed to allow people to stay locked up in prison doing the exact same thing their government doing? Doing the exact same thing the government doing. But you're going to leave them locked up. But Oliver North walked, George Herbert Walker Bush walked, Ronald Reagan walked. Now, if you don't see what this is, I don't know what to tell you. Now,